The word peace is worth 1,000 pieces of gold, and so we are using this medium to appeal to our brothers and sisters in Kano and Plateau States to give peace a chance. Remember, the first and fundamental law of nature is to seek peace and follow it, while not forgetting that the best panacea to resolving crisis is through dialogue rather than violence. With that, we welcome you to this week's edition of Crime Fighters. Recently, the crew of crime fighters took a trip to Plateau State, a state known for its relative peace until the ethno-religious crisis of 2001 in the area put pay to all that. We bring you the interesting and thought-provoking interview we had with the Executive Governor of the state, His Excellency Dr. Joshua Dariye. He speaks extensively on the communal clashes that recently rocked the states and what the state government is doing to stop the carnage from extending to other parts of the states. He also speaks on the relationship between the state government and the state police command. Please listen to him.
Your Excellency, I want to look at security on a broad base. One, we want to find out from you, what kind of security measures have you put in place to ensure that the spate or the kind of killings that we witnessed some couple of weeks back does not take place in Plateau? More so, some of the killings were also associated with armed robbery, armed banditry, as well as assassination. Now, what have you done to ensure that foreigners don't invade your states to perpetrate this heinous crime?
Security is a very big global word. Security can be viewed in various places: security at home, security in the office, security in the marketplaces, security around the corner of the entire populace. And we have preventive security and routine security, and then of course every chief executive must have security as his priority, and that was what we did. I believe that in collaboration with what we call the joint ops, the joint operation, the police, the army, the air force, and the SS, I believe that that is the teamwork we need, as mine is to complement what they're doing, to make sure that I provide the necessary logistics as a complement to what federal government will do. And that's the kind of device we did. We divided the state into segment or even zone, not necessarily political zoning, but we also adopt the political zoning as a convenience strategy. Down the southern zone, we make sure that we man with equipment and communication facilities to ensure that crime, where they're perceived, or even insecurity or threat to life, where it is perceived, is promptly reported. The same thing has gone to the northern senatorial district and the central senatorial district. But generally, we have had a very peaceful state, even not for the unfortunate incident of September 7th that seemed to have rocked the state. And after that, we have gone a long way in trying to sustain peace. I must say that there have been appreciable progress. We have recorded a few setbacks because of the reprisal attack as a result of cow thefts or vengeance. People believe that, oh, you just must ensure that you return a pound for a pound, or flesh for flesh. And we believe that in the spirit of give and take, we must forgive ourselves. And of course, because of the last election, people and adventurous people who have nothing to offer will always take opportunity to cause mischief here and there. But I can assure you that in spite of all odds, we are committed. And that's like your program says, Crime Fighters. We are fighting it to make sure that Plateau remains the safest place in the whole of Nigeria.
Your Excellency, would it be right for us to say that peace seems to be eluding Plateau State, no thanks to the communal clashes here and there? The recent Wase and Taro crisis, coupled with the fact that you also witnessed the communal clashes in September 2001 and that of 2002. Yesterday I was privileged to speak to one of the suspects that they brought. And all of these things is just about cow, cow, cow. But you have Nigerians out there who see Jos. I used to be one person that dreamt that one day I would want to stay in Jos because of the nature of Jos, as you would have to find it in every other developed society. Jos is like the London, the US to Nigeria. But it has, like I said, assumed a different thing entirely. What is the state government doing to ensure that people outside Plateau State try to understand that it's all about, mere thefts of cow from the hinterland and not the environs of Plateau State, as it were?
Yeah, you see, the most problem with the Nigerians is that there's a lot of ignorance, even among the elite. Like somebody will just tell you that the South is just made of Igbo or Yoruba people. The man doesn't want to know whether there are Orobo, Jaus, and other small other tribes that exist. Or just the North is made up of Hausa, Fulani. There are many, many other Nigerians of goodwill that stay here. People just say, oh, I wanted to stay in Jos, so there's fighting. Did you see anybody fighting on the street? The answer is no. It is now left for the journalists, the print media, electronic media, to educate the world. When things are happening, I had the privilege of being interviewed by a gentleman from one of the newspapers. And he said, oh, everything in Plateau is a new conflict. I said, because you are doing junk journalism. You don't want to, you sit down in your office, you want to go, you cannot use the internet to know what is happening in Langtang or Shandam or Wase. You must go there. You must have your crime reporters. Just like when you were fighting Gulf War. Why were we getting the on-the-spot report? Or even about Saddam Hussein in Iraq. People, you could see journalists even fighting. The international law allows that journalists must not be shot. It is only in this part. And because people are scared, and the people are lazy, and people want to sell their magazine, they say, Plateau, there's fighting. No, you people have a responsibility to now go to the spot of the crime or the event to now say, look, we believe that this is what is happening. So the cow theft is a known phenomenon. Indeed, of course, when there was no more fighting, people are idle, people are jobless, people have lost their foodstuffs or farm. There still is cow to sell. And the Fulani man believes in a revenge mission. He will come back and revenge, even if it takes him 5 years. It's a known thing. Once we know a particular event, then we now know how to report it. And I think that the basic thing is let us understand the situation. Let us evaluate the situation and report it correctly.
I will come back to the issue of Wase and Taro because, like I said, you also have some of these idle minds that are recruited to fight. We spoke to one of the suspects before we met you, and he's one of these miscreants around who was talked into fighting. Like I know that every state has its own peculiar kind of miscreants. In Plateau State, you do have, because we've spoken to one of the men that was arrested by the police force. Now, what are you doing to reorientate these social miscreants, to let them understand that they could do something meaningful with their lives other than get recruited to fight, to kill, to maim all the time?
Of course, we will do periodic this thing, but you see, we don't rush to the press just for the sake of rushing. Just like in Wari, that is fighting every day. The oil companies have not packed out. They are still drilling. We have more fighting and hostility. In fact, if there's any danger to Nigerian coexistence, it's not on the plateau. This one is a child's play. You have oil workers, you lock them off, you have big people collect big money, and you don't see even if it earns the money. They should be the one that are causing the trouble. And if they give me this kind of money, I will not even have anyone fighting. They will knock out theft. It's poverty. And how much am I receiving from the Federation account? So what I'm saying is, look, let us not overblow the small thing. These things happen, small things. And they are not as large as the newspaper. I always blame the newspaper. Today,